What is the situation with LED now?
Well, what up? Well, originally he was out because of some injury, right?
Yeah,
Now I don't know if
it was like his
this
thumb.
right, and so I don't know if this is because I know I saw the headline you're talking about. I don't know if this is him being having to sit out because of that again, like maybe it's sore again, or if they're
Oh,
like,
it is. I'm seeing an update from him.
okay, there you go. Yeah, unfortunately, it's like almost like a picture in your shoulder, you know? It's like you can't really come back too soon if it's
He
your
has no
thumb.
range of motion in his thumb still.
Yeah, so it's like you can't really persevere when your entire career is based off your thumb movements.
Wonder if he plays claw.
That would almost be easier though, because you move your thumb less if
Yeah.
you're playing claw. You might want to learn how to play claw if that's that bad. Might have to just switch to mouse and keyboard. Be the first COD pro to do mouse and keyboard. All right. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hello, welcome, what is up, and welcome to episode 388 of the Center Ring Esports podcast. And this is going to be the best episode ever because we have Yikes of the Week, a very special clutch or kick with lots of topics to get to, as well as plenty of e-news, it looks like. So busy week of esports and gaming in general, as we have some e-news to wrap up there. Before we get to that, let me tell you about the show's sponsor. It's your mother. So thank your mother for us.
Hey, this is Daps. You're listening to TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello everybody. Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring Esports podcast. This is episode 388, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, 6/21/22. The time is 9:20 p.m. Central Time. I believe the sun is just setting, as it is the first day of summer, and it is the worst day of the year, as it is the longest day of the year. But that won't stop us from having the best episode ever. Follow us on Twitter at the Center Ring. Join our Discord, be a part of the conversation with that. Come play games with us. We're always available, always willing, and on just about every night, give or take, at least one of us. So there's that. My name is Tim. I will be your captain into the journey of esports, and alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
Your brother in arms in Chivalry 2.
Yes.
We're doing well, brother. We're doing good, man.
Good long weekend.
You know, it was
I
fun.
honestly,
we had my
until
kid's
this moment,
birthday.
I forgot it was Tuesday until like this very moment.
I know, it feels like all of this happened so long ago. We had my son's second birthday. That was a total hit, a lot of fun. He really enjoyed it. Probably had the coolest bounce house I've ever seen. I'm very jealous. I never had anything like that. Good time though. Like had a lot of friends out there, and everyone just got to enjoy. Weather was actually only 95 that day, which that sounds insane still, but still about 10 degrees cooler than it's been.
I was gonna say, so that means the feels like was like 101, so it's just still that's a cold front lately for us.
And their
we'll
backyard, as you've seen, is like all shaded anyway with all the trees. So
Oh, yeah.
it felt good back there, and a lot of water activities, and just doing birthday things. It felt like all weekend, but
Literally,
yeah, good.
literally, I went to your kid's birthday. I had my niece's birthday, and then of course, yesterday was my birthday. which we also hung out for that. Went to the driving range. So just a busy
Yeah,
weekend.
that was fun to get out there. That was not. I mean, Tim and I have gone shopping twice together in the last week. How many
Yep.
times have we gone shopping together prior to this weekend?
Unless food counts, none probably.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Probably none. Went twice this weekend. Went to the driving range. That was a lot of fun. Got to hit some balls around, play some games while we were out there. That's a cool course too. I like their driving range, like having just
Yeah.
the different like targeting
cheap.
games.
It's
and,
cheap, and I will get better. People know me. I'm a confident person. So when I say that I suck at something, it truly is like, that's how you know, like, okay, yeah, Tim is really bad at this.
It's like anything else. You just got to practice. I mean, that's all it is.
But golf is different. Like,
it's not, because it's only different in the sense, just like first time you played an FPS, somebody probably showed you something. You just need somebody to kind of teach you the ropes a little bit. And then it's just practicing. It's just
Right.
repetition. But getting that initial help, especially in your case, is pretty crucial because you don't know what you're doing yet.
I'm a golf virgin. Like I've been like maybe 4 times in my entire life. So
and that's like all like Top Golf and all that.
Yeah, it's a driving range. It's never with like an instructor or someone who knows. But that's the goal. I want to just be able to hit straight. Because
we'll go make that happen.
Unless
I don't mind having like a tutor, help me out and correct things for me too, and so I'm very much down to do that.
Unless we find a golf course where all the direction of the field is directly to my right, so when I shank it all to the right, because it's incredible that I can do that. But
bro, we had you standing at like 90 degrees and it was still
like the person,
it was very impressive.
The person next to us probably thought I was directly shooting the
Aiming
ball
at
at them. And yet I was still able just to shank it.
When you were lining up, I was hoping, and it looked like you were noticing too, to not do it when she was standing up ready to shoot.
Yeah.
Because it would have looked like you were trying to aim right at her.
People were probably like, what the hell is this guy doing? But I have no shame. Like I said,
No, gotta do what you gotta do.
I know I'm not alone at it. Like the chances are people at driving ranges, especially like at that type of one, chances are they suck as well. Like it's probably
100%.
more common you find someone who sucks at it. It's like bowling. You go to a bowling alley.
It's like a fun activity, right? You're playing games. You're not really like, as you won a couple of the games we were playing because it's just you hit
I'm a
it
gamer.
and it hits a number of objects and it's like, it's very much luck based and makes it fun for everyone.
I'm a gamer. That's what I do. Tournament Tim showed up for the game ones anyways. But yeah, no, fun long weekend. Hopefully everyone had a good holiday, a good Juneteenth, and all that fun stuff. So yeah. Let's get into the show. As we have a lot to discuss. Yikes of the week. Anuj, did you want to handle this one?
Man, it's always fun because we used to have a Blizzard Yikes of the week going for about a solid year.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a long time where we had a Blizzard Yikes of the week section in our show notes.
Regardless whether it was sexual assault or just...
It didn't matter. They gave us so many good ones. Like we had
Overwatch,
so many to go through.
Wow.
It was overwhelming. They needed their own spot. So I'm glad to see them join the fray
what
again.
What a year.
So,
what do you think Bobby looks back at 2021 thinking, how the hell am I still here?
I mean,
just incredible. We could
probably just counting his money, Tim.
We could do like a 4-hour long show on Blizzard's last 2 years, and it all be negative.
Issues with production, issues with staff, issues with, just issues with just how their company operates.
Everything.
And yeah, this one, is interesting, right? Because in terms of how they operate, obviously they're doing something right in this case, but Diablo Immortal has already earned an estimated 24 million so far. There's been crazy stories. I'm sure if anyone's been keeping up with gaming news, you've seen some of the stories out there of people spending $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, just to get these fragment stones, and one person spent 25K and only got one. And they reportedly earned 24 million so far, obviously upsetting the fan base. But to be fair, although this is just a yikes because the game is so loot box ridden and puts you in a position to where you want to pay to
Well,
play.
and that's the thing. It's a yikes for me because it also shows why the majority doesn't care, right? Like, the fact that Diablo Immortal can still be in beta, I have not heard one good thing about the game. Not one. In fact, out of principle, I uninstalled it. Because even though the game I thought was fun, like, I knew I was never going to be able to play the way it should have been played because I'm not going to spend a penny on it. Not because I'm against spending pennies on games. It's just, I'm not going to do it on Diablo Immortal. Like,
Yeah.
Diablo
yeah.
4 is coming out in the next decade, so I'll just wait for that. But like, this just proves that the general gaming community, I think, just doesn't care, right? Like, not that many streamers are spending 25,000. This was also a lot of just normal
These people are also doing it for views, right? There's a reason they're getting so much
course.
attention. They realize what they're doing. So
Look, if you're a streamer
look,
that can spend 25,000 on this, don't feel bad for that streamer.
But at the same time, when they announced that they were making a mobile Diablo game, the intention was to make money, right? Like, I get that's
Yeah.
the point in any game, but that style of game going to mobile, it was purely to earn money, and they do that with Candy Crush. They're very good at it on mobile. Okay, like Blizzard makes probably way more money on mobile than they do anything else, and so they've mastered that art. This is just another addition to the franchise. If you don't want to support it, stop giving them $24 million. I mean,
That's why it's not going to go away.
It's not.
It's just not. Until we become like, what is it, Denmark, that completely made loot boxes
I think
illegal?
there'll be some rules around loot boxes in the next 10 years, right? Like, I think there'll be some legislation around it to. It is a terrible system, right? A lot of us are okay with that system because we're so used to it now. Like, it almost feels weird if a game doesn't have some sort of cash shop or ability for you to spend money, but it is a terrible system. And
I can talk shit about people who spent money on it because I did not. So I stand clean on that. I wonder if you and I'm sure someone could Google this, but I wonder, like, for a casino, if you went to, say, the penny slots or spent $1, whatever, right? However much this key was to open up this loot crate. So say it was $2 per time you opened up a loot crate, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many spins on a slot machine at your normal casino? How much money would you have to spend at that before you hit the equivalent jackpot to this gem? And I wonder what it would be comparable to be like, well, yeah, it's a slot machine, right? That's what loot boxes are designed after, so it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder.
Yeah, like, I'm assuming the percentages are out there, right? Like, there's probably percentage for slot machines to know, like, hey, a jackpot's going to hit every 1 out of 600 rolls, whatever it may be. I don't know. I'm sure there's some, like, ballpark figure out there. But same thing for the loot boxes. Like, some of these gems are under a 1% chance to get them, and that's not like, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to roll 100 times and I'm basically guaranteed one. No, it's like less than a 1% chance every time you open it. It's not like your odds are getting better because you now opened one, or like opened a box or whatever. So the system is very much like gambling addictive. And look, streaming culture is not helping that. Like, top story on Dexerto is XQC losing $800,000 in gambling or some nonsense,
No, of course not. No, the streaming culture in general is toxic as hell for especially the younger generation. Like, no doubt is it not a good influence. But I just wondered, looking at, because I enjoy myself a casino, but I also know, like, you're going there and you're going to lose $300-$400, but I'm paying that. I just view it as, that's just a night's worth of entertainment for me.
Entertainment that you're paying for.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm not going in there expecting to win money. And so I hopefully when people do these loot crate, which I do think, and I know some countries have this rule where it's like you have to show the percentage of like, hey, this is what you can get out of it. This is your exact percentage out of it. So that way it's like when you complain that it took you $25,000 to get this gem, Blizzard can turn around and be like, well, yeah, dude, we told you there's a 0.5% chance of you getting it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, whatever. But either way, it's kind of a yikes on both ends. And I, you know, like you said, it's not really on Blizzard. This is not a Blizzard yikes. This is, to me, people yikes, spending $24 million on a game that you're saying we shouldn't spend money on, but yet they made $24 million
Everybody's still doing
bucks
it,
in like
yeah.
2 weeks. So I think they're going to continue with it. My yikes, one of my yikes, comes from the land of Halo. And much like every yikes in Halo, it just always seems like it comes at a package deal. So this, the first one, Anuj, comes from the NA Open Series. Fnatic versus Talentless. Talentless is about to beat Fnatic. I believe this was maybe map 1. Maybe it was the series. I don't know. But it was on a map. And control, right? Where you have the 3 points and you got to control them, right? Remember that game mode when we played this? Yep. So Talentless was 48 seconds away to win against Fnatic. Fnatic was getting their butts kicked. All of a sudden, the game ends. And this makes it even worse because there were the players on Fnatic were streaming this. And you can straight up see it just straight up 48 seconds to win. He hits pause, end game. Just like that. The game ends. Talentless is confused. Admins are confused. What the hell is going on? Fnatic says, we were having controller issues. So the admin then says, okay, we will replay the map starting with, it was like the differential points or something like that. Either way, it started it with Talentless needing 187 points to win. Seconds, however you want to look at it. And I'm sure you can guess how that story ended with them not winning.
Yeah.
Just a huge...
Did they end up changing the ruling here, or did they leave it as is so far?
As far as I saw last, it was as is. They came out and explained the ruling on saying, hey, the admin goofed. The admin did... Because you're not supposed to end a match due to equipment malfunction. So basically, it has to be server.
What happened here in...
And the weird thing is you go and watch the Fnatic's POV of it, at least in the clip that people are showing, you don't hear someone like, you know, like with me, like sometimes...
Usually you would hear somebody complaining about the controller.
Exactly.
Like, how are they, like, how did they know this? Through osmosis that one of their teammates was having an issue?
And maybe they were talking about it ahead of time and they just conveniently waited till they were about to lose to end the match. I don't know. But...
They had the built-in excuse ready to go. Hey guys, if we're losing with about 40 seconds to go.
Ended. It's controller issues. But again, they're not even supposed to do that. So
I mean that sucks.
It's
like
shitty.
that's just
shitty.
I'm gonna let you just keep going because you got a run to go on here, and then I think I'll just kind of chime in as a whole.
Second one here, I'm saving the best for last. Second one is through HCS, the Halo Championship Series with Orlando. Now, this is the next upcoming major for the event or for the series, Anuj. Now, we all know Halo Infinite hasn't really been that smooth of a transition on both the esports and the gaming side. The issue with Orlando is we still don't know when it is. They have teased now twice when the dates, when the tickets will go on sale, all of this, and then nothing happens. And then they go, oh, well, we're still working with the venue. We still got to get back to you guys. So we got to delay it a little bit. I don't understand how we're operating like this. We have teams that are partnered into this. Like big orgs. Like remember when Halo Infinite came out months ago and we were thinking, I say months, it's a long time ago at this point. Like thinking like, Halo's back. It's with the big leagues. They're playing with the big boys now. They got partner teams.
It's Microsoft.
Microsoft is back.
Microsoft. It's not. I don't understand. I don't understand how one group of individuals can continue to miss and miss and miss. Like this is the equivalent of going 0 for 10 from the 3-point line in a game. I mean, it's bad on the production side, people running the esports side. It's been tough on the development side. Like, they're not catching a W anywhere. And look, these two yikes to me are like kind of tame compared to the next one. Like it's funny because you always think, oh, how could it get any worse, right? Like Halo's been through such a rough patch. I thought that like 3 or 4 months ago, right? Like that I thought at that time, I was like, "Oh, season 1 was coming to an end. The game was starting to feel a little stale," but it's like, "Oh, season 2 is around the corner. They're gonna add all this stuff and, then Forge is around the corner and like I know this game is going to get better." And here we are in like what, season 3?
Yep.
Season 4, season
Yep.
3, and I feel like it's almost gotten worse. Like that, it's gotten worse because you've lost the population, right? You don't have the number of players that you once had playing it, but I mean, man, even from a social media standpoint, they're just getting beaten up.
They haven't had a win in a while. Like,
Long time.
really, I would
Since
think,
the first major
since
LAN, in
Raleigh,
my opinion.
there hasn't really been a win.
Yeah, like it's been a continuous letdown on the esports side since then. And from a development aspect, we haven't seen changes to improve the game. In fact, changes to make the game worse have only occurred with the movement stuff and all the other drama that was going on. So
Yeah, they need a win. Now, this next yikes is anything but, because
I'd say
I don't know what. Now, either way you take the story, right? So, because there's two sides to this story. Now, we all know this weekend was Juneteenth, a holiday celebrating the freedom of black slaves, right? It was, what was the story? It was at Galveston. They were finally told 2 years after the bill was signed to free them that they are free. And so hence Juneteenth.
it started here in Texas, the celebration, and then spread, kind
Right.
of across the US at that point.
Yeah, for us living in Texas, Juneteenth, we've actually known for, or at least us and me, I know the radio station always celebrated every year. So, but anyways, it's new to some people, and that's fine, right? That's exactly what it's there for, to educate. Well, no one told 343 this. So they released a Juneteenth emblem. That's great. That's fine. The issue is it was called Bonobo. Now you're thinking, well, Tim, what's wrong with Bonobo? What does that mean? It just could be a name. Anuj, if you just take that name, Bonobo, and just type that into your Google machine for me, you're going to find a few things. One is a British musician, apparently. But if you go to images, you will find one thing and one thing only, and that is monkeys. Now, I'm not racist, but I do know there's a connection with racist people of black people and monkeys. So when you name your emblem that is for a primary reason of black freedom after a monkey,
it's like 100% miss.
like
There's no and I've heard some of the excuses that have come out. Okay, you
yes,
mentioned one before the
devil's
show,
advocate here, and this has been explained on Reddit, so I'll explain it here. Is apparently one of the development tools that they use at 343 is called Bonobo, and then that is to say a point like, hey, just because it's not like racist to use a monkey's name for anything, right? So maybe they just use the name of the program they use as a placeholder. Okay, I will give you the benefit of the doubt.
Such a bad mistake, and I'm smiling because I can't believe that like this could happen. That there's not some sort of,
even if
where's the QA team or like
right,
some sort of testing team, like somebody. Now maybe they didn't know what it meant, but like
I will also on devil's advocate on this one, because I honestly think this was just an honest mistake, because if I was QC, I would not think. Like, I would just look at that and be like, okay, yeah, Bonobo. I did not know Bonobo was the name of a monkey until I saw the drama unfold on
But,
Reddit
like,
and Twitter.
enough people
Enough
knew
people
what it
knew,
meant
right.
immediately, right? Whether you knew what it meant or not,
Right.
enough people knew within
And I'm
seconds of it
assuming
coming
if
out.
your job is quality control, you are Googling everything that goes through just to make sure. Just as a
Well, like,
safety net, just
especially
Google
around
it.
the nature of this, right? Something that
You need it
either is
ironclad.
like, a celebration of a religion or a culture or like anything like around that. If you're wishing like Eid Mubarak to people, you're probably not gonna put like a free India flag. If you're doing something for Palestine, you're probably not gonna put like an Israeli flag on the background cover, Like there's just like certain things that you should, hey, we're supposed to be doing this for the right reasons. Let's make sure we also do it right. And to let something like that slip through is like so amateur. It's so amateur for the size of company that they are. This is not like some indie company
No.
that just made this mistake. Like
Again,
this is
we say 343, right? Because that's the studio that's behind it. But it's Microsoft.
it's Microsoft. like again, it's hard to believe something like that could get through. That's such a
Unbelievable.
yikes and like
It's
so
unbelievable.
embarrassing. And honestly, like somebody needs to lose their job for that kind of a mistake, right? That's not like a slap. That is a very big mistake to make. And so, you kind of hope that it's dealt with appropriately and not just like, oh, hey, it was a mistake. It happened. It wasn't racially motivated. Like, you gotta fix some of these problems that you're having there, and something like that is just too preventable to happen.
It's just, again, another thing on the list of L's that Halo is just taking it right up the shorts with. Just shot after shot, they cannot get a win. They just can't. So there you have it. A bunch of Halo yikes. It just seems like you can't get one when it comes to Halo. It's like you get one, and then all of a sudden you start looking and catching up, and you're like, yeah, damn.
Maybe we should retitle it to Microsoft Yikes of the Week
I mean,
with Blizzard and Halo.
Halo in general, just... And it's like you can go to the Halo subreddit on both competitive Halo and just your normal Halo subreddit. And it's... The fan base for them, it's just so dedicated to where it's almost like it's like their child. They love it unconditionally. They all bitch about it. They all hate the game. They can all admit that, like, yes, 343 and Microsoft is screwing this up on both the esports side and the game side. But it's like they all have such false hope that it's going to turn around. And it's like what? Like Microsoft, like the Master Chief Collection, where it took 5 years for them to finally make it a playable game that people enjoy. Like, that's not going to work.
No, you got to cut your losses and move on.
Unless they finally release a BR, because people will go back to at least try the BR, right?
But it's also saying that the BR is going to be good.
That's what I mean. Like, it just has
Right.
to be
Like, they were so
home run.
anti-BR, which already to me was a red flag for like, hey, you're not intelligent. Like,
Yeah.
you just don't know. You obviously don't understand the gaming industry right now. If you thought Halo BR was a bad idea at the start, you might have not wanted it because you don't like BRs. But to say that it would have been a bad idea for the game as a whole, that's just dumb, right? And they kind of took that stance, and people couldn't tell if they were joking or not at the time. And now you feel like if they were to release one, it feels like it would be something that's just
It'd be
so
so
rushed.
yeah.
They can't even get big team battle right now.
Yeah,
like, how are you
it
going to
would
get
feel
100%
so
BR right?
unnatural.
Yeah, it would be a mess.
I don't even know. Does single player have co-op yet? I don't even know. I mean, it's not like we have it to try, right? It's not like we're gonna try it. But like that was a thing, right? Is like it didn't release with co-op.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they have added that yet.
Dude, I haven't touched the game since basically the last day that our little crew was playing there, like almost every night for a while. I haven't gone back one time to even open it to get an emblem or whatever, like claim anything, do any. I mean, I have not even. It's not even on my computer anymore.
I've been on since then, and it's still from the now it's been like maybe 2 months, but it's just so unpolished still. When I played it last, it was just so unpolished. I was like, I'm just.
And there's
gonna
all
go
these
back.
issues before we even talked about aim assist, so that's just a whole nother.
Right, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. So I'll stick with Counter-Strike and do something I know I'm going to like at least. So, speaking of, let's get to clutch or kick, because we have some Counter-Strike, we got some Valorant, got some just general esports. We got everything with clutch or kick. Clutch or kick, of course, is everyone's favorite game show. It is where we tell you a story headline, and Anuj and I will debate whether it clutches and it sticks around, or kicks and it's not worth your time. So, Anuj, I will start with this first one here. It involves the Valorant, the upcoming Riot League for Valorant, and partnership. CLG, Counter Logic Gaming, announces that they are looking into joining the article, which I kind of agree when someone pointed it out. They are looking into making a join male Valorant and apply for partnership. Now, someone said male Valorant sounds really messed up. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, damn, I guess you're right. Because CLG does have a female squad, but they are looking at joining top tier Valorant, which, you know what? Hey, no, in my how you spin it, you say male Valorant, and I knew what you were talking about. So maybe I'm a bad person in that sense too, but I don't really care. My point here, clutch or kick, CLG looking to enter in, signing a top tier roster, and then applying to join partnership.
I mean, it's a total clutch. Why wouldn't they? Look, this whole partnership program was already going to cause a rift amongst the teams, especially in NA with the amount of orgs that are involved. There's just not enough spots for everybody. If you're not using your previous relationships with Riot, whether it's, mainly obviously through League of Legends, but partnership deals or whatever you've done with them in the past, if you're not leveraging that relationship to try and get into potentially one of the biggest esports leagues that will be out there, you're not doing it right. Like, you're not running your org right. Do I like that CLG has the ability to do that after being irrelevant in the male Valorant scene? No, I don't love it, but I don't care at the end of the day which teams get partnership or not. Like, I just want to have I know the best players will be then playing for one of those teams, right?
Yeah.
I'm not diehard
Yeah.
towards, I lean towards envy, but I'm really just looking for good games out of it, right? So to me, it doesn't matter. We knew this was coming all along, I guess is my point. It was coming at some point. There was going to be a league, and a lot of teams that people are rooting for are not going to be a part of it. So got to pick your poison, right? It might not be 100 Thieves, or might be, there's some teams that we're going to get in, and there's others that have a slim chance. And so I'm clutching it because I feel like I knew this was coming.
I'm going to kick the idea because I absolutely hate the fact if CLG gets a partnership. If CLG gets a partnership in this upcoming Valorant League, it's an absolute joke, and Riot is an absolute joke.
Because CLG hasn't been involved in the male scene, or because you don't like CLG, or what's the
so? And I understand CLG has a relationship with them because they are involved with League. So I get that part of it, and like you said, obviously, call your connect. If you're CLG, I get why they want to do it, right? Why, like you said, it's obviously going to be one of the biggest esports leagues out there, ran by Riot, so it's not going to go anywhere, and it's going to at least be ran at a higher function, right? As we just got done talking about Halo, where it's ran by what seems like circus clowns. So I totally get why CLG wants in. But to me, you can't just be going off of well, hey, yeah, you guys have a league team and you've treated it right, and whew, you guys haven't done anything with Valorant other than shoehorn in a female roster. So, yeah, come on and join the partnership league and take advantage of all this that other orgs have bled and sweated over and built this foundation of Valorant, so you guys can just walk right in and take advantage of it. I don't like that mindset. I don't like the fact that, like, hey, we're just buddies, so we're going to let them in type of attitude. Also, I think from a marketing standpoint, like, CLG to me is a borderline dead org. Like, I think a lot of people forget that they even exist half the time. Even League fans, like in Discord, were saying, yeah, I like League, and I forget that they're even an org half the time. When you're opening up a new league, I think you want the flashier, marketable orgs to get in there. Like you said, the best players are going to play no matter what, right? They're going to be in there no matter what, because the what's the saying? The cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
Is that it? Something like that?
Sure. Yeah.
So
like that.
You got me. So I eventually, you're going to get, no matter what team, they're going to have solid players.
It's about the cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop. But there's a saying about something rises to the top. You get what I'm you think of the saying and fill it in, and then it will make sense. That's what I don't like CLG doing this.
Let me play devil's advocate here, Tim. I think I need to set you straight a little bit here. Okay. I can't sit here and give orgs a pass because they work so hard to become a Valorant partner. Like, orgs treat players like commodities. They're only doing this so they could have built a relationship with Riot to get involved in this game, knowing damn well that other people have been building relationships with Riot for the last 10 years and investing in League to make that game the biggest in the world, right? Like, those teams helped do that. Whether you think CLG is a dead team or not, they still have a team in League of Legends. That is still an impressive feat in itself. They've had female Valorant teams, they've had female CSGO teams for a long time. At one point in CS, they were a top 3 NA org for the first several years of the life of Counter-Strike. Now, granted, they've been irrelevant for a while
6
now.
years, yeah.
But, like, we're only talking about Counter-Strike irrelevancy, right? They are involved in, like, multiple esports games, and they've put in the time and relationship to build that partnership with Riot, and all these other orgs had a chance to try and join LCS when applications were available, but they didn't do it. And all of a sudden, Riot comes out with this new flashy game, and they want to be part of it. But look, they're all doing it for the money. Okay, none of them are doing it because they love Valorant and just want to support Valorant.
I do think you have to look. If I was
the best
Riot,
teams are still going to get in. Your favorite big boy, big name teams are still going to get in.
I'm just looking at the orgs that are involved with Valorant right now on the NA side, of course, and I can already think of Optic, Cloud9, NRG, FaZe, Evil Geniuses. Got 100 Thieves, Sentinels, TSM. And even if you look at some of the newer orgs in there, version 1, which I think will make it just based off of their ownership,
the guard is going
to behind it.
Like, the main thing here is teams are going to get left out.
Yes,
right?
Teams will get left out. I think CLG should be one of them.
Yeah,
I don't see any reason why CLG should get in, because there's no reason, none whatsoever, that I could be convinced for CLG to get
relationships are everything. So whether you don't want them in there or not, they have a relationship with the person that's running it. So they also don't. Riot's going to get theirs at the end of the day. To them, it does not matter if they pick CLG or if they take Ghost Gaming, who's ranked number 10 right now.
Right.
It doesn't matter to them. Luminosity has dropped their roster 14 times. They're just doing it to stay and have a fighting chance, but it looks like they also realizing that they're not going to get, partnership. Look, there's 4 or 5 teams that you need to have in there, right? From an NA standpoint, you got to have Optic. You're going to want Cloud9. You're going to want FaZe, 100 Thieves, Sentinels. They can afford it. I guess they probably could if they're paying the roster fees that they are. But TSM is another one, even though they've been crap for the better part of a year and a half now. So yeah, you're going to have those teams in it. And then there's going to be 3 or 4 slots that nobody's going to give a shit about. It's not going to matter what name it is, because the biggest names are going to be there. And so that's why I really don't have a problem with it. I get why you do. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying that you're
I
wrong
just
either. I understand why somebody would not like the idea of having it, but I think at the end of the day, you just won't care because the biggest names will be in it, and then there's gonna be 4 or 5 teams that were a crapshoot who won the bidding war to get in.
yeah. I mean, I won't care just because at the end of the day I'll forget CLG exists, just like 99% of the other
Like,
esports community.
T1 is going to get in, right? And you could say they have been as irrelevant as you could be
Do you
for
think they'll get
having a
in?
team in male Valorant,
Do you
for
think they'll
having a team.
Do you think T1 will stay with NA though? I think they'll.
I
think they're going to
if
jump
they
ship.
wanted, they said they want to stay in NA, so they made that clear. Now, they would take a Korean spot if that was
I
all
was
that
going to
was
say
offered to
I could
them.
see that happening.
But I think they want to take an NA spot, and do they really deserve to be one of the top 10 spots? Like, absolutely not when it comes to performance-wise, but does it make sense to have them involved if that's what they want? Of course, you know? So
Yeah.
people are going to be upset one way or the other. It's going to be teams that are ranked much lower than somebody in the top 10 that didn't get in. I'm saying 10 because rumors are that it could be like 10, maybe 12 teams.
I've seen
I've heard 8 to 12.
real okay. I've seen.
Um,
I'm going with 10. Met 2. I don't know. That's what I've seen
yeah,
more
10
of.
sounds like
but
a nice round number, but I've
yeah.
heard rumors of 8 to 12.
Don't forget
If
G2
it's
wanting to move to NA, right?
who?
G2.
Oh yeah,
G2 said that
G2,
they.
talking about
Yep.
NA and look, these teams will take it wherever they get it, and
Yeah.
so
Like I said,
a
I
team
get it.
like G2 can pull the strings that way. And why? Because they've built a foundation in Riot, and they've invested themselves and they've been one of the most popular teams. So to me, they deserve an opportunity to have get a little extra, right? Get treated a little bit better. Like not everybody should be able to do that. And CLG, is what you think of them. They've also put in that time, and built that relationship. Even if they haven't been good, there's relationships that are built there that'll probably help them if they want to make a push to get in.
And I'm sure they will, and I'm sure that's kind of been their attitude the whole time. Like I said, I don't agree with that viewpoint of it.
What if they told you, "Hey Tim, we didn't want to compete because it doesn't make sense right now with the way the circuit is, right? Like if we don't qualify for VCT, then we have to pay a salary for 3 months of no action." If they came to you and told you that argument directly, one that we have made many times on this show and not given shit to teams who have dumped rosters to save money for that reason, would you be upset with them of taking the approach, well, we just didn't want to be cutting a team every 3 months just to stay afloat?
I would say yeah, because there's been 30 teams ahead of you that were willing to do it. I would say yes, your logic makes sense, but I'm not going to give you points for that, right? Because you are also sitting here paying a female team. So you can't really talk to me about you don't want to waste money when you have a female
Let's
roster.
talk about difference in price. They're paying a female team 1/10 probably of what they would pay a
right, but
male
it's
team,
still
and the
it's
return
still
on
on the
investment would still
books.
make them more money on a female team with streaming and all. I don't think that argument would make sense because I absolutely feel like you're losing money on a male team regardless of what team you are. I like what Sentinels is paying
Well, yeah,
to
I
those
think you're
players, what Optic is paying to those players, Cloud9. There's no way they're making a positive return on investment when they don't own their streaming rights or anything.
Well, we know Sentinels isn't because they've paid how much for tens, and they're not getting close to that back.
No, I mean,
Ever.
again, they don't own the streaming rights or anything. So, I female esports is probably the better and safer investment if you ask me, because if you took a loss, it's not going to be in the hundreds of thousands per year. Um, where in male, I mean, God, we see it in CS. Like, look at how they talk about the CS ecosystem. Like, nobody's making money. They're
No.
burning money.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, we've never looked at the books on either side, so I have no idea. And yes, I would.
But,
Yeah,
but
obviously,
we know.
obviously, male teams are going to cost more money, right? They're top tier, and like you said, they don't stream, and when they do stream, it's it's not like a female streamer, right? The content Simple is putting out is not the same as insert female streamer, right? It's just not the same. So
it's just not like traditional sports, that it's not that 1-to-1 correlation where
no.
men's basketball brings in almost $1 billion a year in TV revenue. So yes, it makes sense to pay them $40 million a year. You're paying them like they are bringing in that kind of revenue, and yet you have no deal to make money off of them.
Right. It's just to stay relevant in that scene is essentially what you're doing it for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said,
good debate.
there's
Good little clutch or kick topic.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would get that deep, honestly. Obviously a difference in opinion there, but I do think either way, we're not going to care, because the main teams are all going to be there, and it's going to be a couple of leftover teams that get slots, and eventually we'll become fans of those teams.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, and look at the end of the day, I have no. If Cloud9 gets in, that's all I care about.
That's what I'm saying.
The other 9 teams could be, it could be iBuyPower could come back if they wanted to and make a team. Which, if iBuyPower came back and made a team, I mean, I think we'd be #1 fans, right? But yeah, no, it's fine either way. I just think if I was on the board of Riot, that would be my argument on 2Y, right? I don't care that, you're giving me a hand job, 5 years ago. Like, what have you done for me lately, CLG?
Isn't CLG in league right now?
Right now, right. But that's again, we don't have to repeat what we just talked about. I just don't see that being as valuable in this scenario, other than yeah, of course you want in CLG. We're freaking Riot. We're starting a Valorant league. Of course you want in. You didn't have to submit this. We knew. But
we'll find out soon the power of the relationship, if it matters. Or not.
I think
if they get in,
I would almost guarantee
CLG played it perfectly, if you ask me.
I think they are getting in, and I think that's why they waited so long to even acknowledge Valorant existed. So that would be my opinion on it. Next clutcher kick is kind of like I really don't even know how we're going to set this one up.
We could... Well, you want me to...
Better or for worse. Let's say better or for worse. Clutcher kick, the new Liquid that we're seeing. So we've had some changes in the last week or so with Team Liquid CSGO. Shox, who's been rumored out for a while, I think he's mentally been out even longer than that, is out. Adren, coach, out. Daps in as coach. So, I mean, come on. Instant major win, right? And filling in for them at IEM Cologne, so it's not official roster or anything like that, is Yakinder. It's also been considered, though, that they are looking at, or they have looked at, JKS and Snacks. So these are all fill-in rumors. Yakinder is official fill-in. But either way, you kind of see where Liquid's mindset is as far as how they want to replace Shox and go forward. So clutcher kick, the overall Liquid shuffle. I'll start on this one. I'm going to say clutch for multiple reasons, but even if the only reason is something had to change, right? I'm going to clutch it for the sole purpose of I felt like Liquid was just in this weird spot with Counter-Strike where they're stuck in NA hell, but they were also in EU a lot. And we've even seen it like with Stewie talking with Evil Geniuses, where it was like they're having issues with their roster just for the sole purpose of like the traveling back and forth and scheduling reasons and things like that. So something had to change for Liquid. I do like the pickup. I think Shox hasn't been Shox in forever. Daps as coach, I mean, I don't have anything like against Daps other than the fact that he asked us if he was going to get paid to do a liner for us. Other than that, I think he's fine. I don't know what, I'm interested to see him as a coach. The fact that they're considering or even considered JKS and Snacks, though, as a fill-in to me is super exciting. Hopefully that would be like some of the players that they would consider signing as a fifth. So for me, I like it on paper. It's a clutch.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shocks never really seemed to be the right fit, like from the beginning. It
No.
never felt right. Not to say that international team or something couldn't work out. It just that didn't seem like the right fit to me. Liquid is a group of like very laid back and chill personalities. Maybe obviously get heated in game and whatnot, but overall their natural demeanor is like very relaxed. And I feel like Shocks is
You don't see a Legion Nitro
no,
going
like
crazy.
Shocks to me just plays with like a different level of intensity. It just never felt like the vibe was right for that to work out. So sorry it didn't work out. I would have loved to see it be good, but it didn't. So with what they're doing right now, I love Yakinder for him. I think between Nath, Elysian, and Yakinder, that is a deadly firepower trio that then puts an exorbitant amount of pressure on OC to kind of grow into the opera that they're hoping he will be. I think he is getting better, and I think he still has a lot of room to grow. So I still would like bank on him being the player you think he'll be, right? He might not be ever be the best opera in the world, but you just need him to be good, right? You don't need him to be the best with that team. And then Nitro, he's still on his little comeback path. I don't know if we'll ever see him kind of return to the level of Nitro that we once had in Counter-Strike. Not because like it's just life has changed for him since then. This is not like going to Valorant and coming back. Like he's had a child, married, like it's just harder in that instance to kind of live the
Yeah,
lifestyle you need to be in.
not saying, never say never, but I have never heard of someone getting married and having children and then peaking.
Yeah, like he might be the first, but he's had a point like 9-ish rating for him since his return, and that's not very good. So, I think this puts a lot of pressure on them to kind of step up. But I like the move, and I think
Oh, yeah.
Adren, sometimes it's just time for a new voice. I like Adren. Um, I think he'll have another opportunity. I would hope to coach somewhere else, but I think a new voice can just be good.
Yeah.
I personally would like them to get JKS trialed on this team too, because I don't think necessarily a Kinder is going to work out from a financial standpoint, and buying a player from a Russian org can cause a lot of issues right now with the sanctions and all that are in place. So I don't think this is like a done deal that he's going to go from this trial situation to on their team. I think he's also trialing them to an extent to see if he even
Right.
wants to play with them. So I think if that does not work out, I think JKS would be a great next option. Snacks, I would like to see him on more of an EU based team and get a chance to. He looked great, in his last event where he got to step in and do his thing, but I don't know if that also does not feel right to me, just personality wise. So I think a Kinder would be awesome if it could work out. I have more concerns of it working out, but look, if JKS is an option, that'd be great too.
Well, we'll be able to see it in Cologne. So they have Cologne's on the 5th. So we have about two weeks exactly, actually, until the next big event, which is the whole reason for these roster moves, is they want to get ready for Cologne. So we'll see. I don't know what realistic expectations are when it's your first event, but the hype is there, right?
With 2 weeks of practice time, it's
right,
hard.
Yeah, and you got travel and everything involved with that as well, and media and all your other obligations in life. So I don't know what the realistic expectations are for Liquid in Cologne, but I would say at least not lower than what they were, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't, and whether it's fair or not, Liquid always has these high expectations for them, right? And maybe that's because they've been kind of holding the torch for NACS for so long, especially when Cloud9 was not there. They've kind of been it, right? They've been our one and only hope.
No, only one.
So it's Evil Geniuses had like 2 weeks, I think, but other than that, yeah, Liquid's kind of been it for us. So we'll see. We also have the NA powerhouse that is Cloud9 at the event, so maybe they'll be able to to take that as well. So
Maybe.
either way, I like the changes on paper. We'll see. Last but not least, clutch or kick, Anuj. Talked a little bit about this in our Discord with some listeners throughout the day. Jacob Wolf, former ESPN, former something? I really don't know what he does nowadays, but he's esports journalist. Obviously, everyone knows him. Good dude. We've met him a handful of times. Really nice, knowledgeable dude. Take the time to talk to you. Well, he did an article today saying that Flashpoint, from what he is hearing, is all but dissolved. With Dignitas being the final team to pull out. Well, they've pulled out of Counter-Strike completely, right? Dropped their roster recently. They were the last founding member of Flashpoint to remain, and now they're out. So they got nothing left. So he posts this article in the story that he did saying Flashpoint is dissolved. No more. It's dead. Clutch or kick? Are you surprised at all?
I mean, Tim, I did not know Flashpoint was still a thing until this article came out. I honestly thought it was already gone because by the time we were a year and a half or so into COVID, like 70% of their partner teams were not involved in CS, or no longer with that org, or had transitioned to like basically tier 2 or tier 3 players. Like they weren't competitive teams anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always under the assumption that they were like already gone. Like they haven't done anything in a long time. They only had 1 or 2 sponsors, tied to them from what we're reading in the article. And you kind of saw that. I mean, the stream wasn't terrible, but they overhyped themselves. They oversold themselves. It's bad for this scene that they failed, but I think they also set themselves up to fail. And anytime you make Thorin the spokesperson for your company, which I don't know if he officially was or not, but he definitely acted like
they
it.
didn't say he wasn't.
He made them look so bad to any potential sponsor that I wouldn't be surprised if like he is part of the reason that this failed as badly as it did. So not surprised at all. They overhyped themselves. They oversold themselves. They underdelivered from the very beginning when they said they were going to get all these teams and ended up producing 1/5 of the teams that they said they, were actually going to get. I mean, I think Cloud9 was the biggest team at the time, and MIBR, who was on its last dance a year and a half ago or 2 years ago when that was going on. So, yeah, I mean, look, got an article out of it, but to me, this was already in my mind a done deal. So I guess it's just official now.
Yeah, I feel like, I guess if I had to put a label on it, I'm kicking this. I'm kicking this article because it's not worth your time reading. Love you, Jacob, but I hope you didn't put in a whole lot of investigating effort on this one, because I couldn't have seen a more obvious headline saying that Flashpoint is all but done. Like, if you listen to this podcast, it was always pretty obvious that, like you said, I think from about season 1, you and I were already talking about how this seems to be just doomed for disaster, because you tied your anchor to sinking ships, essentially, right? Like how you were saying it, you had all this hype going into it with Thorin, talking shit for you on Twitter, making all these very confident claims like, oh yeah, we have Astralis, because what was the other league at the time? It was ESL was the other league at the time, and so it was kind of a power struggle of who's signing with who, right?
Yeah.
And even looking back, I don't think ESL really had their money worth on that, but whatever, I guess they're winning in the end. But then none of that, came forward. So Thorin kind of went into a downward spiral. Then they announced Monte Cristo.
It all started when like Astralis didn't come.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because that was his big thing, right? And then he started saying that it was like, I couldn't even remember. It was just Twitter
Talking
drama
shit about their
to the peak.
owners and
Yeah,
just kind
just
of went nuts.
they were lied to and all this, and they were played and all that. So, and then Monte
Look,
Cristo was became the commissioner. Nothing ever came of that. Like, for the sake of it, you had people involved with this who really claim themselves as the esports know-it-alls. The talking heads of esports were all involved with this. I say esports with Counter-Strike, right? We had some big wig, confident people trying to big dick around with Flashpoint at the beginning. And for how fast it burned, it was pretty incredible. And the fact
they got what, $16 million up front from everybody from their partner teams.
yeah,
They got about 16 mil.
2 mil per team.
Burned through that already and never even had one successful event. So
It was.
I would say you could not have done a worse job.
And I remember they were talking about how, we're gonna, like everyone says, we're gonna reinvent the way we do esports, and you've never seen Counter-Strike like this. Well, let's do an interview while they eat dinner. It's like, wow. Glad
They did the anime intro, I think.
Yeah, that was the best thing that came from Flashpoint was their anime intro. Outside of that, I guess they blew their budget because we didn't get
that's where
anything.
8 of the 16 million went.
So stay hard, Flashpoint, but this is literally the most anyone has talked about you in the last 3 years. So there's that. They haven't even tweeted since July of 2021. It's almost been a full year since their last tweet.
They don't even own the rights to the website anymore.
So like, what was this article about then with Jake? Like, maybe this is why ESPN ditched esports. I don't know. Like, yeah, no duh. Flashpoint is dissolved. That thing's been dead for a while. That thing's more dead than Thorin's career. So, I don't know. I will laugh though, because this makes me chuckle when I think of, and it's not like I'm like have my Overwatch League pom-poms on, right? But this league was full, like I said, of a bunch of people who talked mad shit about franchise leagues, right? The Overwatch structure, all this. Yet they were also a franchise league that made orgs pay to get in and then crumbled before their checks even cleared. So
seriously,
like pot calling kettle over here in the scenario where like they're still trying to make fun of Overwatch, yet guys, your own league.
They were just focused on all the wrong things, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, this was you know what it was? Is Flashpoint was a league built on spite. And that's why it didn't work.
Yeah.
Look at all the people who ran it, and they all tried to run it out of spite because they didn't like the other guy.
Just never focused on the task at hand.
Yep.
They wanted to cover everything, worry about the talent, worry about their egos.
Yep, they worried more about tweeting mean things about ESL than they did their own tournaments. And that's really, at the end of the day, what Flashpoint is going to be known for, was the drama.
It won't be remembered. They were not around long enough to be remembered.
Well, this is also very true.
I forgot about them until this article came out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you the last time I thought about it, so...
No.
So there you have it. There is Clutch or Kick. So hopefully everyone enjoyed that. Let's get in to some e-news. In CS, Heroic has announced their 5th. And I'm going to let you take it as I'm about to die.
Yeah, they pick up Jabby from Copenhagen Flames, which is a great pickup for them in terms of the firepower that Jabby brings. I think my only sad takeaway from this is it was at the cost of losing Refresh, and I thought Refresh is a player that really like reignited his career on Heroic, and I think will 100% be on another top tier team soon, because he was a very clutch player for them. I almost looked at him like a Zipnix kind of player. He has some very memorable 3v1, 4v1 moments, and again, sad that they dropped him, but Jabby coming over is another great addition. Now, what this does to Copenhagen Flames, this might be the beginning of the end, and starting to see some of these guys get plucked away, unfortunately.
Which was always the case, though, right? They even announced it during the major.
There was chances that the roster would get bought out for a long time, and I think that was the hope for a long time, and it's why they held on for as long as they did. But getting a chance to go play for a top 5 to 7 team consistently was probably too much to pass up. I can't blame them for that.
No, yeah, it will also be interesting because I guess a little clutch and kick in its own is this is like the first roster move for Heroic since they've kind of had their resurgence, right? Yeah. Like when COVID first started. So it'll be interesting to see, and you hope. I mean, I don't see how it would hurt them, but you just hope like it almost just they're able to continue, right? I like the Heroic storyline, so hopefully this wasn't those.
This is all to beat Na'Vi. They need to find a way to beat Na'Vi. That's been their nemesis. And
well, good luck. Good luck on that one. Not even dick pics and cocaine could beat Na'Vi, so I don't think this will work out. Considering Na'Vi did defeat Vitality at Blast Pro, if you watch that, so that was also a very good one there. Na'Vi with their latest pickup, obviously Boomage is out of the picture. Really didn't
look like they missed a beat. Electronic was calling, and
yep.
I think that's the power of Blade being your coach and setting things up nicely for you. They feel confident.
Yeah, didn't miss much there. Nico. Oh, one thing I wanted to say with Blast is Nico sent this tweet out. Let me pull this tweet up, and I just wanted to highlight it because I know I, in particular, like to give Nico a hard time. And that's mainly because his attitude, and he kind of normally always has some, piss poor attitude, in my opinion, about things. However, after they were eliminated, he tweets this. "We are seeing improvement in our game. That's what makes me feel better. Super proud of everyone on the team. We gave it our all until the end." Anuj, I'm going to be the first to say it here. A positive Nico, I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of not stressful with the weight on his shoulders, Nico, because that's what we've all. I don't think. When was the last time you seen Nico play where he doesn't look like the entire team is depending on him?
In a big match, it's been a long time.
And so if he's
anytime it's in a big match, it feels like all the pressure's on him to just come through.
Yeah. And he looks like that, right? Whether that's the case or not, I mean, you just look at him and it's like you missed that deagle, and it's just he feels like he lost the major, right? Yeah. Despite all the other rounds that some other teammate lost as well, that missed deagle is what people bring up, and he feels it. So a confident, positive attitude, Nico, man. I'm looking forward to it, and I just want to highlight that. It's also been announced, one last thing here, Nuge.
We got there was a couple of odd updates that came out. So we had CSGO tweeting some random stuff about updates coming up, and that this is just a test and we're not really doing anything, but yet there were people in the test server. So interesting to see what comes about. But they did have another recent update that involved Ancient. Reworked some of the map, cleaned up the edges. It actually has a nicer look. I got a chance to play it for the first time the other day, and it is much cleaner, if that makes sense. Like Ancient felt a little bit too much like foliage and crap everywhere, and it's a little bit more like CSGO looking. So I think that's a great change. It's funny because in their tweet, they accidentally said Aztec instead of Ancient, and people started spazzing and getting all super pumped up to see that Aztec had some big.
Maybe they listened to our last episode and we heard us talk about Aztec.
Yeah, but no, it was for Ancient. Still happy they did that though. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, it seems like they really want Ancient in the map pool. Like it's just,
well, it's like their map, and
yeah.
It's a good thing that it's like a new map. We're talking about new map, so it's like it sucks when you don't love the map, but there's been a lot of maps that they've released that we've hated, and over time they get better, and I think Overpass is a prime example of that. So hopefully the same can be said for Ancient at some point.
Agreed. In Valorant news, somehow, and I know I even said it looked like there was no way, but there was like a 1% chance, and it looks like it hit, that Sentinels are moving on.
Yeah, they really needed everything to go in their favor, and it did. So
yeah, so for the LCQ, somehow, some way, they ended up managing to get to the spot and move on. Optic becoming the first team to earn a playoff spot. We already mentioned earlier, G2 looking at moving out of EU to join NA, so looking to sign an NA roster. Again, whether that happens before or after partnership, who knows? They might be waiting.
Yeah.
At this point, I would say just wait till you get partner and then decide. Because who knows? Maybe Riot is like, look, you're going to be a partner, but we need you on EU, right? Like that's a very realistic possibility to where they're like, we have too many NA teams, we need an EU, you're going to stick with EU. That could very well be the case as well. I wonder what makes them want to come to NA, because they are an EU org.
A G2 and NA would be some hype, though.
Just freedom, you think?
A lot of shit. Yeah.
They just want freedom and hot dogs. Also, Split is removed. We have the first time that a map has been removed, and it is Split, removed from the map pool, replaced by Pearl.
Yeah, like, as people that played Valorant in the earlier days, which is still not that long ago, Split was like the hated map, but looking at the reception, like there was like a couple other maps that people would have preferred to have removed over this one. So interesting, we knew this was going to kind of happen at some point. You're not going to have like a 15 map pool, so they started now. They want to keep it at 7. Another Counter-Strike takeaway, I guess you could say. And so we'll see it rotate. It'll be back. Don't worry.
I think at the end of the day, people learned to love to hate Split. Like, it was almost like they enjoyed playing it because they hated it so much.
Yeah. as different agents became powerful, like the map played differently and became a little bit more bearable. So, we'll see that shift happen a lot. It'll be back in the map pool in a couple of months. So no big deal.
In Call of Duty, Championship Weekend will take place again in LA, August 4th through the 7th. Prize pool, I think this is an overall for the season, and this might have been a yikes, but overall the prize pool for this year in COD, $421,000 less than last year.
It's kind of interesting that happened.
Yeah.
Sneakily, I feel like it hadn't been talked about a lot.
No, yeah, definitely. That's under the radar that their prize pools are that much smaller. But yeah, so it's been announced that the championship weekend, again, in LA, not like I care, I guess. It would have been cool to see it in Texas. It would have made sense considering every team is based in Dallas anyway. So it would have been cool, selfishly, at the Verizon Theater, or whatever it is called nowadays, where ESL was. Like, I think that would make a good COD finals event, whatever. Yeah. I don't like that it's in LA 2 years in a row. That's weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas has become the de facto hub, so it would have been cool for,
Yeah, just maybe. In a world where setting up events in other places seems like the norm, to do it twice in LA kind of seems like a cop-out and makes me concerned for the Call of Duty League's finances on the back end. Almost seems like there's more to that story. Maybe once Jacob Wolf is done on the beat of what happened to Flashpoint, he can focus on the CDL.
Might be a lot to unpack there.
Speaking of Dallas, Optic Illy is back on the bench after he is having lingering issues with that thumb injury. So saying again, he doesn't have full motion in it. Now, Rambo, coach, friend of the show, did come out and say when he's 100%, he's back. Like, yeah, this is not a... He's not
earned that right. They've been a dominant team all year with him, and so...
Right. It's just an injury. It is what it is. Overwatch 2 beta begins June 28th on PC and console. Game coming October 4th. They announced a lot. Basically a roadmap for the next year or so. So you can check out, but it's new maps, new heroes. I think they said 6 new maps is what I saw, and the plan of having like basically a hero every quarter. Basically what we saw with Overwatch 1 during its prime. A new hero every quarter, a new map or two every quarter.
What you're kind of seeing with Valorant right now.
Yeah, we're kind of back to that norm schedule, it looks like, for Overwatch. Right now, Junker Queen being the new hero. I think I saw that she's a tank. Don't quote me on that. She looks fun. They released the video of her abilities today. Kind of looks like right up my alley, so looking to test her out. If she's a tank, though, I won't, because it'll be like a 15-minute queue, and no one has time for that. In Fortnite news, Anuj, I need you to take my wallet away from me.
Bro, I saw this today and I was like, oh, it's the Battle Pass? Like, that's like a Battle Pass exclusive. It's kind of unfortunate because that means you have to commit time to like completing Battle Pass tasks. But
we're gonna do it, right?
it depends on...
Bro,
yeah.
it's Darth
Vader. I have to work diligently because I have a baby coming not too
They
long,
added
so
Darth Vader to Fortnite as a Battle Pass skin. If we did it for Spider-Man, we got to do it for Darth Vader.
On Thursday, it's rumored that the Naruto skins are back in the store. And you know how long I've been waiting for that, so if that's the case, I'll have to go in on Thursday. If Darth Vader's sitting there in the Battle Pass, I'll probably end up getting the Battle Pass, and then I'll call you the same night to get on.
Yeah, I mean, I will grind Fortnite for the Darth Vader skin. Even if we play Fortnite once a year, I just need it. I just want to know it's there.
No, I understand that. I need to figure out my gaming schedule. I'm spreading myself thin, which hasn't happened in a long time.
We can ditch Chivalry for Darth Vader Fortnite for now.
I just started having fun with Chivalry, though.
It is fun. It's a brainless game.
It's a brainless, stupid, but it's not even Chivalry that's taking up the time. It's freaking Destiny.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. In other news, congratulations, friend of the show, Anuja's best friend, Nadeshot, as he is officially engaged to his girlfriend. It looks like he was on vacation, Hawaii? Some tropical area, it looks like. So, finally popped the question there.
To him. Yeah.
Congratulations.
They've been together a while, too, so I feel like it was like, this was where they were headed, and that's awesome.
One kid away from all downhill. In other news, WoW Dragonflight was released, announced that it is releasing this year. No official date, but it is going to be this year.
Like, they did the pre-order today, and on the pre-order page, it said releasing December 30th, 2022. December 31st or whatever, so they put the last
date. That
date
seems like a placeholder date to me.
Make people think that it's coming out, but I'm not 100% sold that it comes out this year still. Until they, like, officially release the date, I still think we could see a Q1 release date for it.
A, I am debating about getting the physical collector's edition because I always used to do that. Probably not though. B, I kind of want a 2023 release. Mentally, I'm not with WoW right now. Like, it would suck if they were like October and I'd be like, maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely don't want it to come out anytime soon.
Like, I'm mentally not.
I just don't want it to come out when I have the baby coming. I want it to come out like a couple months after when life is a little bit more settled down.
In non-esportsy news, Dallas was selected to host a city for the upcoming FIFA World Cup. So that's exciting. Obviously, North America is hosting the entire event, but Dallas, I think, is getting like 16 games or something like that. So I think
I already told Kelly we're going to a game.
Yeah.
Hudson will be coming. He'll be 6 years old at that point.
I think it'll be pretty cool.
That'll be cool.
Not even like an American game either, because there's no way I could afford that. But like, I will totally go to like a rando.
Oh, dude,
like,
any game.
Ecuador versus other rando ass country. I'll go to anything. So
yeah.
It also, like, I'm so esports. When I saw the news break, it took me like 5 minutes to realize that they weren't talking, like, because it was FIFA World Cup, and I was like, wow,
like the video game.
Yeah, I was like, wow, people are really excited that they're hosting the FIFA World Cup here.
This is trending on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a big deal. I guess it's a popular game, and then I realized, like, oh wait, no, yeah, FIFA is like an actual thing. It's not just a video game. So Had a moment. And yeah, last but not least, follow up. We've played a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Honestly, game of the year. It's exactly what I needed, exactly what we were expecting.
No, it's fun. It definitely gets the itch, and we're halfway through it right now, enjoying it. It's what we wanted it to be for the most part.
Yep. And we are also, like we said earlier, playing Chivalry 2. So if you have the game, it like just officially came out. It's like you can get it for like $30 or something. It's like 40% off.
$23 right now.
$23
until July 7th. So between Chivalry, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Destiny, we got a handful of games that we're playing in. So if you're playing any of them, come and join us.
There you have it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right. Well, that's it. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm about to die though with this cough. I don't know what's good time to end the show. But that will do it for this episode of The Center Ring, episode 388. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening. Whether you joined us live, listened to the recording, jumped around, love you all the same. We will be back next week. Probably normal schedule time on Monday. I don't think anything else is going on. No surprise birthdays. Ooh, wait.
I'll be out of town. I won't be
Yeah,
there.
you're out of town.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. Maybe a guest host. Who knows? We'll sort it out. And get back to you. So follow us on Twitter so you know, though, at The Center Ring. Join the Discord. All that fun stuff. But until then, for Anuj, I'm Tim. We'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.
It's like a fucking zoo in here.
Got all your
2 cats all floating around me right now.
all your animals. Do you know the company High Ground? They're owned by 100 Thieves. I think it's just like a
Yeah. They're like they made a keyboard for them. And shit.
yeah. So they are doing a. They just announced it. June 24th. So in a couple of days, they are releasing a new keyboard, and they're 65% keyboards. You know, and not that badly priced. You know, they're like $130. Well, looks like anywhere from like 135 to 145, depending on what it is. You know, I might pick it up. It's funny enough, kind of what I was looking for in the sense of it's like see-through keys, like truly see-through keys.
Just gotta get on early.
Right. All right, I'm going to kill the stream, so anyone in chat, love you. Thank you for joining, as always. Oh, yeah, Wolf. I actually looked at that skin set. AK does look... If I played Valorant, I would definitely get it. The knife is sick looking.
Which one is it?
They just came out with it. They just released a new set. It's called the Prelude to Chaos. The knife is sick. Ooh, I just saw the animations too for the first time. That's a sick looking AK. Bro, the knife is like a sword. I really don't need to spend money on a game I don't play. But if I did spend money,
that would be the one.
Dude, that's knife is sick looking. That is sick. All right.
All right, I'll hop in a normal channel here if anyone's on wants to join.